இந்த மாதிரி பியூட்டிஃபுல் கிராண்ட் பேரண்ட்ஸ், ஒண்டர்ஃபுல் பேரண்ட்ஸ், இவாளோடலாம் இன்னைக்கு குழந்தைகள் இருக்க முடியாத, for the sake of higher education, for the sake of earning more, they have to run around the globe. And the joint family system which threw pleasures at us at any given point of time. அது மட்டும் இல்லை, the safety factor which we had in environment, எல்லாம் they will take care of it. நம்ம ஏதாவது சின்ன தப்பு பண்ணால் கூட it will be corrected immediately. Yes, problem here and there, they will solve it. Unfortunately, the present generation does not know at all.
My father பேர் A.S.Srinivasan. எங்கள் கிராண்ட் ஃபாதர் பேர் வந்து A.K. கோபால்சாமி சாஸ்திரிகள். இவங்க எல்லாமே அபிராமபுரம் ஃபேமிலி. இந்த வீடு வந்து above 100 இயர்ஸுக்கு மேலே ஓல்டஸ்ட்டு ஹவுஸ். இதுக்கு பேர் வந்து ஜட்ஜி ஹவுஸ்னு நிக் நேம் உண்டு. நாங்கள் வந்து அபிராமபுரம் ஃபேமிலியில் எங்கள் கிராண்ட் ஃபாதர் ஒன் ஆஃப் த மெம்பர். இந்த அபிராமபுரம் ஃபேமிலி வந்து ரொம்ப ஓல்டஸ்ட் அண்டு ரெப்யூட்டட் ஃபேமிலி. அபிராமபுரம் ஃபேமிலியில் நாங்கள் இருக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு பெருமையாக நினைக்கிறோம்.
A.K. Rajanathan moved to Madras. He initially started engineering contracts. During the process of construction of these railway contracts, he was also introduced to the PWD, and the chief engineer who happened to see his work connected with the railways was immensely pleased about the standard quality he maintained in the buildings. In fact, he was instrumental in building the Stanley Hospital. He found that there was a necessity for large quantity of bricks and tiles which are being consumed in the engineering contract work. Therefore, he started a brick and tile factory in 1933. That was the first tile factory started in Madras, in Madras in southern India, named after his father, Krishnamurti Shastri. So, Sri Krishna Brick and Tile Works. This factory was blessed initially by Sri Kanchi Paramacharya, who visited this Tirumangalam and also visited the factory area. 1960-61, the West Madras neighborhood scheme was introduced. That's what's called this Anna Nagar scheme. At that time, nearly 200 acres, not 200 acres of land in Tirumangalam was acquired by the government, which he reserved as clay land for tile factory. That's why he was compelled to close down the tile factory. Then the rest of the remaining land which he was keeping, his idea was that we should start the construction of buildings, flats, and then dispose it off, because it is allied to engineering contracts with property of our own. Instead of selling the land, you build a house and sell. The land fetches a better value. That was his scheme. But unfortunately, he passed away in 1963. He moved from Abhiramapuram to Madras, and he got settled more or less in Madras after marriage. He was married to late A.R.Rajagopalan's daughter, who was district munsif in Kanchivaram, and he had only one daughter, that is my mother. And that marriage was performed in Kanchivaram, and then they moved to Madras. The necessity for father to move from Abhiramapuram to Madras was two. One is his profession and business. Two, education of the children. It was a very pleasant memory to rethink how he came in contact with the leading lawyer at that time by name T.M. Krishnaswamy Iyer, who was more or less a neighbor in Mylapore, because both of them had their residence in what is known as then Vembakam Gardens, because the property then belonged to late Desikacharya, who sold those land and property to T.M. Krishnaswamy Iyer, to my father A.K. Ranganathan and others. One fine morning they offered, Ranganathan, would you like to buy this house? He said, what's the price? They quoted 50,000 or so at that time. That was in 1927 or 28, I don't exactly remember. But from 1924 to 1929 he was occupying as a tenant, and he purchased that house. That was named by T.M. Krishnaswamy Iyer as Kumara Vijayam. There he received a number of guests, both in terms of religious people as well as musical, Carnatic musical artists who were known to him, like late Dakshinamurti Pillai was a Mridangam Vidwan, whose name still is fresh in my memory, and like K.B. Sundarambai and others. We used to visit Abhiramapuram from Karupur only, because in the family partition, my grandfather Krishnamurti Shastri gave the village, Karupur village, as a village to my father. Similarly, to A.K. Raja, the first son of Krishnamurti Shastri, he gave Palur. Then for A.K. Ramachandra, he gave Kattur. So are all adjacent villages. So mostly father's land was located in Karupur, because he also purchased from his brother late A.K. Venkatraman Iyer his share of agricultural lands in Karupur. So the total holding was consolidated more or less in Karupur. Father also developed association with one of the Abhiramapuram family descendants by name Sundara Shastri. He was in Shayanapuram. Then they all, one after the other, moved to Madras because of their marriage connection and for their vacation. See, Uncle A.K. Venkatraman Iyer and A.K. Ramachandra Iyer started motor agency. They had this motor car agency for this Essex. In those days, imported cars were called Essex cars. It was all American cars. So, அதை import பண்ணி அதுக்கு ஷோரூம் வச்சிருந்தாங்க மவுண்ட் ரோட்லேயே. ஸோ அந்த பிஸ்னஸ் அவள் பார்ட்னர்ஷிப்பில் கண்டினியூ பண்ணியிருந்தா. Father got released from that partnership and started his own, as I told you, because he diversified into engineering contracts from motor business. Whereas A.K. Venkatraman retired from the motor business, so also A.K. Ramachandra Iyer from business, he started this Midland Theatre.
So can you tell me what values does A.K.R. Tata represent?
He represented two main things: faith in God, and he was interested in feeding people. He was always following the right path. He will never, whatever it may be,